Hello, my name's Glenn. It's also Tilbrook. You're going to be watching Sounding Out by Yes, part of the fabulous BBC Crown Jewels series. This particular show was filmed on October the 3rd, 1971, at the Pavilion in Hemel Hempstead, England, and broadcast on January the 10th, 1972 as Sounding Out. During the promotional tour for their classic album, Fragile, this includes interviews with all of the band's members, Chris Squire, Rick Wakeman, Steve Howe, John Anderson and Bill Bruford, talking about the albums and the songwriting process. Well, why should you be watching this? I'll tell you exactly why. It includes absolutely fantastic performances of classics like Long Distance Runaround, Yours Is No Disgrace, Perpetual Change, and are you excited already? I know I am. Right now, guitarist Steve Howe is currently touring with the Reunited Asia, and right now I'm going to be sitting down and watching Yes, as are you.
We as a group and me as a songwriter, we're both still finding out about each other, the capabilities of the band. Cold summer, listening, hot color, melting the anger to stone. I still remember the dream there. I still remember the time you said goodbye. Did we really tell lies? Till in the sunshine. Did we really count to one? The first band I was with was called The Warriors. We used to copy the Beatles. I used to go on stage thinking, I'm Paul McCartney, I'm going to sing I'm Down. And I used to scream it out. And then I used to enjoy just the idea of the girls and the travelling and everything like. It was a bit of an escapism thing, I think. Take a straight and stronger course to the corner of your life. Make the white queen run so fast, she hasn't got time to make you wife. Oh, no, no. 'Cause it's time in time with your time and business is captured for the queen to use. I think I work a bit backward because I write a tune and then I write the lyrics, not so much for the idea behind the lyrics, but for the sound of the words. 'Cause it's time in time with your time and business is captured for the queen to use. After you've written a song and put it together and recorded it, I start to look at the thing as a whole and then decide there is a meaning to it. If I can find a meaning, and possibly people that listen to it will find different meanings. And one peculiar point I see as one of many ones of me. As truth is gathered, I rearrange inside out, outside in, inside out, outside in, that you will change.
Yes was a good idea at the time, still is a good idea. Because one wanted to be a musician and one wanted to learn about the sort of jazz tradition and things. I would have gone to a school were there a school, but there wasn't a school, so the best thing to do is form one and take it around the country, as it were, which is, yes, you know, as it were, it's a good idea. The best place to learn how to play is on a bandstand. I like hearing mistakes in my music because it seems to me that people are trying and that risks are being run. The musical arrangements, quite complex to us, but I suppose to better musicians not so complex. The head arrangements, that is to say, they're remembered and you learn them while you're rehearsing them. And once you've rehearsed them, they're indelibly inscribed, sort of thing. And for the length of their lifetime, while you play them, maybe 3 or 4 months or whatever, or 5 months, you can sort of sing them in your sleep. I reckon I get on stage every night alongside £13,000 worth of equipment. It takes about an hour and a half to unload the truck. Has to assemble the equipment on the stage, and about another couple of hours to set it up when it's on stage. The guitarist has a roadie, and the keyboards have a roadie, and there's a guy to set the drums up and things, and then there's the lights and the sound. And assuming it all works, then the group can come, and you can begin to achieve a sound balance. If anything goes wrong, if the electricity falters or whatever, or wavers or whatever, we're really sunk. Without the PA system, we couldn't do a show at all.
Long distance, run around. Long time, waiting to feel the sound. I still remember the dream there. I still remember the time you said goodbye.
It's much more fulfilling nowadays to be a bass player or a drummer, someone who's in the featured solos, because the audiences are much more educated these days. And people are very aware, even some of the chicks are aware of what kind of strings and things are used on certain bass guitars and things like that.
Love comes to you and you follow. Lose one on to the heart of a sunrise. Sharp distance. How can the wind with its arms all around me? You lost on a wave, then after, dream on to the heart of the sunrise.
This album we've just done, although it's got more complex sounds on it, different instruments, we have musicians in the band, especially Rick, who's capable of doing it. He's capable of playing a grand piano for 3 bars, a mellotron for 2 bars, and the Moog for the next one, absolutely spot on and perfectly. And as long as one knows that the musicians in the band are capable of doing it, then nothing's too complex, really.
I only left Strawbs a couple of months ago. It hasn't really given me a great deal of time to stick my foot in. I did have the problem on the first couple of gigs where I'm merrily sitting at the piano going, I'm thinking I should be on Moog now, and you move round to Moog and you're playing around Moog and you think, well, I should be on organ now, and you find you're on totally the wrong instruments. And there's one bit where there's a break where I have to come in, I think finish one bit. I'm meant to come straight in with. I hadn't got a clue where we were. It's something about the first gig, I think, and we finished. Sort of dead silence, you know. Everybody's sort of all quiet. I thought, well, somebody's meant to play it. Now, they all know the piece very well, so it's got to be me. Think. And then it suddenly occurred to me, and the gap wasn't very long, most probably it was only a few seconds, but it seemed like days.
Cold summer, listening.
Finding out that the guitar was competent at every vein in music. And the most difficult one you come up against, of course, is classical guitar. It was a theme from a flute concerto or something. I couldn't really play it, but it was the melody that went. Just major scales, you know. And then I thought that was quite rocking. Then I got into. Added little bits like kind of the only work on guitar. You couldn't possibly do them on flute, which was little things like that amused me. That I could just branch off and say, well, it was, you know, that was a little theme of Vivaldi's, but I had a little something I could throw in just for amusement, really. I didn't think the sound that the BBC got was very good. I wish personally that you'd taken the sound from our console, our mix, because it's the most difficult thing in the world to, I mean, we spend hours mixing our music on record. And I think you did in fact record Yours Is No Disgrace, some of it. Well, that's nice, because that for us is a group number that is associated very much with the group, and we feel very at home playing it. It's easy for us to play. And I think if you got that one, that most probably would be the most representative thing.
On a sailing ship to nowhere, leaving any place.
go to a gig, you have a cursory look at the audience, but you know what it's going to be like, and they're almost, to a man, going to be between 16 and 20, and the young, white, affluent kids of the particular town you're in. They're all going to have long hair, they're all going to be wearing slightly tattier clothes than they need to wear.
I start to think about the young kids that start watching us and pick up a guitar. Now, what is their music going to be like in, say, 10, 12, 14 years? It's going to be really incredible. There's going to be some really good things coming up. I don't think we can start to think what the music will be like in 15 years' time. Thank you. Good night. See you soon. Thank you again for making it tonight. Thank you. Thank you. It's really beautiful. Thank you. Very nice. Thank you.